of what we've got, and then some different fasteners. So what we've got here at the top are basically self-tapping screws. These screws are designed to go into metal, okay, any kind of metal thing. So self-tapping screw looks a lot like this. It has a tip on it that looks like that. You kind of see how that tip works. That's designed to actually be tapped. You can tap it with a hammer into the metal that's going to, and then it takes a nut driver that drives that, all right? And your nut drivers look like this, and then also like this, okay? So there's different sizes to those. There's the 5/8, which is this size right here, and then there's the 1/4 right here, okay? The next thing that we use on a regular basis are called Tapcons. All right, Tapcons look like this. This is the smaller version. I'm not 100% sure the thickness right now, all right, but this is the smaller version, right? That one's a 2-inch, okay? We have the 1-inch, and then we have the 1 5/8, all right? And they come in different sizes or colors. They come in white and blue. We like to use white a lot if we can because it just matches a lot of times with whatever the finish is. And in order for a Tapcon to work correctly, you need to have a Tapcon drill bit. So the Tapcon drill bit looks like this. You can kind of see there that it has a shovel hammer head. If you're using any other bit than this, it's probably not going to grab the concrete, okay? And it's probably going to make a hole bigger than it is, or not even a good hole at all, or you're going to burn all your arm strength trying to push it in there. What's really, really important with the Tapcon bit is this, okay? And what you'll see here is that you're actually pairing up your Tapcon with the size of the bit, right? If this bit is bigger than this Tapcon, the bit's too big. The hole's going to be too big, and you're not going to be able to have this Tapcon bite it. When you're doing Tapcons, that's a really big deal. The next thing that we have are deck screws, okay? Basically, a deck screw is this galvanized outdoor wood screw, okay? We use the deck screws. We shouldn't be using drywall screws or really anything else. We should be using deck screws. Deck screws typically have the Phillips head on them, okay? I believe this is a 2.5-inch. It might be a 3-inch, okay? This is a 1 5/8 or a 2-inch, and then this is a 1 1/4. Okay, all of this is deck screws. These are outdoor rated wood screws, all right? Real simple to use drivers on those, okay? We'll show that in a second. The next one is this one. This is a hardy board screw, okay? Hardy board screw is this guy right here. It really is used for driving into like rock board, hardy backer, the hardy plank siding, any kind of like composite type material, all right, that's not concrete and not wood, all right? It's designed to grip into them. And it's got the very unique driver on it. You'll notice that it kind of has a rigid thing to it, all right? And it's really just designed to grab a hold of that alternative type material, all right? That's not wood, that's not metal, that's not concrete. It does well with stucco. It does well on like these outdoor kitchens that have that hardy board, and then it has the stucco over top of it. So that's kind of what you're looking at there. Then we have some other products. The next thing we have here is a horseshoe nail. You can kind of see that there. It's basically, or a wire nail. It's basically used to just strap cable. Now, we shouldn't really be using these very often, especially outside. We should not be using them on oak trees. We should be using eyelet zip ties with a wood screw. But this would be something we would use inside the house for a rafter, or inside a stud or something, where we're strapping wire to a stud or some kind of other wood product where it's enclosed indoors out of the rain. All right, so that's what this should be used for. And it's done with a hammer. Then we have some other ones. We have a similar version of that, which is plastic. This gets used a lot of times underneath a deck, maybe on a dock, or maybe somewhere where the wire's getting strapped that's out of sight. You can see how it fastens there, how it pushes against, and then the small nails get driven in. All right, and then we have 2 styles of cable clamps, okay? You know, this is basically used for coax, but we can use it for like a 16 gauge wire, right? I prefer to use the black one, okay? There's a few other things that we'll use with screws, but those are all things that have fasteners or screws that come in. We're gonna start with the metal, and we're just gonna use this steel box right here as our example. So we've got our self-tapping screw, we've got it. tap it just a little bit, which pierces the metal. I have my nut driver. I've got it set to screw. I've got it on 1. I've got my torque up, okay? You see how that pre-tap kind of gets it started, and then boom, we're just driving it in. That's what it looks like finished. The self-tapper screws that we just used are used in pool cages and things like that quite a bit. So when using Tapcon, all right, we're gonna be using our Tapcon bit. Remember, the Tapcon bit has the shovel head, right? We're gonna just drill it in. We're gonna hand put it in. Show that real quick. We're gonna make sure our settings, we're using a hammer drill. We're using the hammer setting. We're actually gonna bump it up to the 2 if we have the ability, give it as much torque as possible. We've got our hole pre-marked. We've got it set all the way up. We've got it torqued all the way up. And then we start. That's what it should sound like if it's going well. So I'm drilling my hole, and then I'm gonna pull it out. And I'm gonna take my screw and make sure that on my drill, you see where the dust is, that it's longer than my screw, and it's just longer by a little bit. I don't need to drill any deeper. I don't have to He-Man this out. Once the drill bit is longer than my screw, I'm good. And then with my Tapcon, I'm doing this by hand. I should always be doing this last piece by hand. And I'm just gonna tighten it down, boom, and then it's tight by hand. It's exactly where I want it. If I feel that it's a little loose, what I wanna do is back it back out, fill this hole with silicone, let it dry just a little, or something else, and then bring it back in and push it in. If you drive this Tapcon with this drill, it's always gonna be loose. You're just gonna rip that hole open. That's why once it's drilled correctly, you just put it in with your screwdriver. Next thing we're gonna use is a wood screw, and we're gonna take this clamp and just fasten it to our board. All right, when we're doing that, we need this driver, and then we take our bit, right, should go in here, okay? This is what we really wanna be using when we're using this. I know that sometimes we'll just take tip out of here and then throw it in there and be good. And that's okay if you got nothing else, but that should only be done once. The next time you're back at the shop or getting tools, you need to get the bit driver, okay? It's a big difference in how it finishes. We wanna make sure that we just had it on hammer, so then we're actually gonna bring it back. You notice there's screw, okay? And then we're gonna bring this torque back to 1, all right? That slows the drill down. I'm gonna bring this torque back to a lower setting, probably like 5, 6, because this wood is soft and I don't need to drill through it, right? I'm gonna line it up like we've got here, okay? Find my bid, my tip. Real simple, real easy to do. Wood is the easiest thing to do. Also have a smaller version of this. This is a stainless steel. This is a number 8, I believe a 5/8. It's for something really small. This is another cable strap that we use here. Okay, didn't show it earlier. Another product we use a lot, screw we use a lot, wood screw, eyelet zip tie, right? Oak trees for strapping wire all day long. So we want to pre-wire this, and I've heard, oh, that thing's too tight or it's too small or whatever. We want it to be tight, right? It still works. It doesn't fit 100%. This wire is nice and clean. We put it down. All right, it's pretty much just like drilling a screw. When you're doing these, if you're putting the screw in before you close the zip tie, make sure you leave enough room that you can get behind it. If not, you want to close the zip tie first, right? So then you're going to bring that down, and then you're just going to close it down the rest of the way. Next one we're going to show you is this horseshoe nail, okay? And we just basically line it up with our wood, and we tap it. This thing likes to move on us, so it's not really the most ideal. But like I said, when we're using interior studs and clothes, we want to use it. This guy right here gives us a little cleaner because we can do one at a time. Boom, nice clean finish. Same story with these guys. There. And there.